Hi guys, welcome back to Creative Witchy Mama. Today you will see I have a lovely guest.
Hello.
So some of you will have heard before me talking about the lovely Ebony from the Anahata Tribe, and she's here with me today to talk all things wellness and how she got there.
Okay.
But first, I wanted to do a little bit of an intro because, and Ebony doesn't even know this bit really, but Ebony was like, I stumbled across her in COVID era. And for those of you that have been following along, you know, that was a pretty tough time for me. I did a lot of healing through that phase of my life, and Ebony I have to be very, very grateful for, because not only did she hold space, but also yoga, meditation, Reiki. I'm pretty sure we did some coaching.
Yeah.
And these are all the things that she is very much qualified in as well, and has got a fabulous business that houses all of those things. She teaches Reiki. She's taught me Reiki too. So has really been a huge mentor and pillar in my life. And
don't you dare make me cry. Well, we haven't even started.
but she's been there like basically from 2020, I think, or 2021. 2020 maybe. Yeah. Has been there and has been like not just a friend but a huge help to me on my healing journey, and continues to be a beautiful auntie to Harrison as well. But I wanted to get her in today to talk about how she stumbled across the wellness industry. And so I'm going to hand it over to you, miss. So what?
I was going to say, do you want me just to like word vomit? Like how far back are we going?
I think, look, I'd love to know, and I know my viewers would love to know, like, what was your like catalyst to get into the wellness industry?
You already know the answer to this.
They don't.
Hey. I've been on a very big journey, so I'm just going to say that to start with. It's been a really long, really big journey. It started probably about 10 years ago, but I'm going to say it started like all the way back when I was a kid.
Spoken like a true healer.
I had my, I'm going to tell the little background story. So I had my first guidance reading when I was like 7, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I mean, there's a few key things I remember from what she told me, but then I basically went off, lived my life and forgot about that. But I always kind of went and got readings and did that. So I was always in touch with it. But then I went through a really big personal experience, really big personal journey. So I was with my ex-fiance from 16 to 24, I want to say. Giving away how old we are. I'm not even close to that anymore.
We don't need to talk about age on here. It's not even relevant.
But I was with him for that period of time. And then we went through a journey of trying to conceive, trying to have a little human. I did fall pregnant. I don't know if you know this full story. No. Okay. I've gone all the way back.
She's gone like so far back, guys. So far back.
I did fall pregnant, but I miscarried very early on in that journey. All right. I'm going to try and get through this without crying. But then basically him and I went on 2 very different paths after that. I went and found out about a lot of infertility stuff that I may experience throughout my life. And he was very much wanting to have a child of his own. So my possibilities at that stage were you might not be able to. Yeah. And we were both very, very young, mind you guys. Like, let's preface that. He is a beautiful person. I don't think he's not a beautiful person. But basically I was like, I'm going to go travel the world, F it. Like, I need a break. And so the engagement ended. And then I landed myself. I did go travel, but I had a friend, and I'm going to do this one, a friend.
We all know what friend means.
Supporting me coming out of that engagement. And then that was when I landed myself in the abusive relationship. So I think a lot of people who know my story from the abusive relationship. You kind of got to pull back and kind of look at, I had to, not you guys, I had to pull back and look at forgiveness around why I actually landed myself in that situation. I wasn't in a very good state. Yeah. And then he saw, obviously we had a sale of a house. He saw money, dollars, all the things. And basically I went and traveled, moved back home, moved out of the ex-fiance, moved straight in with this guy. And
it's a lot.
It's a lot. And mind you, like, I'm 24, turning 25 at this stage.
Wow.
Just a baby.
Just a baby.
Just a baby. And then I was with him for 18 months. So I was in that abusive relationship for 18 months. It was predominantly financially abusive. So that's a whole nother story that we won't even get into today.
I guess though that's really added to like your journey though, hasn't it? Like
massive.
Being not only going through learning about all the infertility stuff and like that breakup, the traveling, and then going into an abusive relationship. I think that's been a huge catalyst there, right? To
massive
step
catalyst.
Into that. Not only healing, but also learning about yourself too.
It really forces you to choose yourself. At the end of the day, it really, really forces you to go, am I going to put up with this? Like, am I going to accept this for the rest of my life, or am I worth more than this? And
some tough questions there. Yeah. Some tough, like, deep inner child work there.
Massive inner child work there. And let's just say, like, so this was 10 years ago. So this is a 10-year healing journey, which is why it's actually, you'll note, it's easier for me to speak about the abusive relationship than it is obviously the infertility stuff, because Sherry would know that's some stuff I'm processing at the moment. But yeah, so I was basically in that space for 18 months. Got out of that thanks to some amazing, amazing people in my life. If anyone here who's watching this, I'm just going to say this now, if anyone is experiencing being in an abusive relationship who are really struggling, I'm going to tell them to drop a comment. And you didn't know I was going to say this.
No, but just that's okay.
Comment orange below and we will reach out and we'll help you, okay? I Sherry didn't know this.
No, but also this is really good because I think this is this was a really big part of I think why we connected as well, you know, because I had also been through an abusive relationship many, many years before, which I haven't even really touched on here. No. There will be something coming on that because that's been a big part of my journey as well. But I think we'd had quite similar, I guess, paths in a way, like different, but also quite similar in some of those experiences. And I think, when you kind of gel on that experiences level. I think then it gives you a bit of an understanding as well. And I think when women connect on those levels, it definitely gives you some real solid foundations, I feel, to be able to kind of build a friendship on as well, and to build that heal from to heal from all of it. 100%.
It's so, I feel like I'm jumping, but like that's where the women's circles come into it. I don't know if you've spoken about women's circles yet.
I have, yeah.
Okay, great. Amazing. And Sherry and Dal run beautiful, amazing circles now. I've been to one and been a part of it. But I think women's circles were a massive part of my healing journey. They weren't at the start of the healing journey, but they were a huge core part of maybe 2 years of that healing journey, of just going to them before I even began facilitating them. And when women share, whether it's in circle or whether you're sitting here on the couch talking to each other, whether we're talking to you guys on the screen, like when women share together and you're witnessed, not rescued, witnessed, in what you've been through, it's and powerful, someone actually listens. It's so powerful.
It is. And actually, I mean, that wasn't even really going to be something that I spoke about on here, like on this one today, but I think it is really, really interconnected because not only was I obviously already coming to you for Reiki, for meditation, for breathwork. I did all those circles with you, and that's how I deeper connected with Del.
Yes.
And because Ebony actually stopped doing the women's circles, she was pursuing
7 million
so many different
like
avenues.
Yeah.
That's where Del and I kind of stepped in and said, we really want to keep on facilitating these because we feel like there is a huge, it's not a market, it's a need. It's a need for women to be able to feel safe and sit in that sacred space and feel heard and and to be listened to. And I think that's what Ebony definitely facilitated for me. And I know Del feels like that too. And that's why we wanted to kind of like carry the torch for Ebony, really.
Like, here you go.
Thank you.
But it's needed, especially like we're in the West somewhere. We won't disclose that online, but
they all know that I'm in Melbourne. It's fine.
Okay. I was like, now they know you're in the West in Melbourne.
It's okay. West is best.
West is best. But it's needed here so much. Not more than anywhere else. It's because it's more prevalent on the other side of town, and on this side of town, it's really just building. So I think that it's really, really needed.
So do you think then, like obviously
we've jumped, but that's
but you've like dove into like what kind of brought you to healing? Was there anything else
good question.
Did you do anything that then you felt was like another catalyst? Because obviously Ebony does so many different things. I just want to talk about all the strings in her bow because she facilitates Reiki. She does one-on-one sessions, but also teaches. She's a Reiki master, and I know that that's a big part of her business. She does meditation, breathwork, yoga in so many different forms as well. So you've just done yin.
Yep. So I've done my yin training, which I feel like was the icing on the cake for me. Like it feels like it was absolutely brilliant. I'm going to pedal back to answer that question.
Yeah, that's fine.
So when I came out of that abusive relationship, basically I went into therapy.
Yeah.
And that's where the wellness journey really, really started. Okay. Because my counsellor, her husband was a Reiki master.
Amazing.
Which is so good. And my counsellor's quite open. She's also a yoga teacher. So that's kind of where the weaving of the webs began. And I said to her one day, we were talking about all things, and I'd said to her that there was actually like this really dark energy that kept visiting me. And then this was in one of our sessions. And she sent me to a psychic mentor. So she was a really open counselor that just fully accepted who I was with no judgment. And I think that was the true catalyst in stepping into what I do. Because then I went into that Reiki session, and his very first session, he's doing Reiki. He was like, I don't normally use crystals, but I want to use crystals with you. And I was like, get them on me.
Ebony also uses lots of crystals in hers too.
I use crystals in all my Reikis. But he said to me in that session, you'll do this one day and you'll do it more than me. And I was like, fix me, I'm broken. I don't care about my life dreams. Literally, I was like, can we just deal with whatever's going on in here first? You didn't know that.
I love learning so much about
I'm like,
it's awesome.
Just sort me out. But yeah, so that was very much the catalyst. And then I did level 1, very similar to lots of people who I've taught level 1 to. I'm just going to do it for myself. I don't never want to practice it. Next minute, can I do level 2? Can I do masters? And then that was just the growth journey through Reiki. Yeah. But I think
what an amazing journey. Like,
thank you.
Like, honestly though, that's pretty. It's not only obviously been a huge journey for you, but there's been lots of interweaving, like you said, like obviously starting off in one space. And I think we all go through that. I think, you know, like, I mean, I've spoke on here, you know, about different paths kind of leading, and actually you touched a bit like on the infertility. Obviously these guys know that have been following along that I'm a solo mama, and you know, choosing to do that on your own is huge. But you know, you kind of get led into like different paths, and then they all kind of like cross over and become one, which is,
well, you always, okay, so now I'm going
to
you're always
philosophical,
going to the same destination.
Yeah,
it's written.
Yeah, okay.
Right? We signed the contract to come into this world. So you're always going to the same destination, but there's multiple paths that will get you there.
Yeah.
And it's your human choice that changes the path that you're on, but your destination is written.
Okay.
What I believe.
All right. You've heard that here first, guys.
Note.
So do you think then we have any choice in that? Can that be changed? Like, I'm going completely like
this is not where we were going.
But I'm really interested in that, because I mean, obviously, like you, I'm very spiritual, and I don't know if I believe in a destination, but I definitely believe in the universe, and like that I'm always guided to do things. But sometimes it's about actually being guided to learn.
Correct.
So you get, you know, you get put on different paths because you're learning things. They're not easy paths, because we actually learn the most from difficult situations.
Challenge.
Yeah. So do you believe that we then have any, you know, can that be moved, or do you think that that's final?
Okay. I have an answer, but I want to preface it. Okay. Can we talk about plants on this?
Yes, you can talk about whatever you want. Yeah.
Okay. Psychedelic plants?
Go for it. Yeah, why not? I mean, I haven't spoken about it on here, but go for it. I mean,
well, mushrooms were very much a huge part of my healing journey. Sat with them multiple times in ceremony. I'm not about abusing plants or using them for silly things, but sat with them in ceremony. And the reason I mentioned this to answer your question was because in one of those journeys that I went on in ceremony, I actually had to choose. So I went up, met the council. I think I've told you this. No, okay. So I went up and out of my body.
We're all learning together.
Up and out of my body, and met the council that we sign our contract with when we come into this world, right? And I had to re-enter multiple lives and choose to re-enter those lives. So the spirit had to choose to go back to each life. So I had the option to not go back to certain lives. But what happens if you choose not to go back and repeat a life? That all lives are happening at the same time, by the way, but that's a whole nother kettle of fish. She thought I was just going to talk about Reiki the whole time.
This is why I love her, though, because she's so complex. There are so many levels to Ebony.
Well, if you think about it, if you chose not to do something in this life, that would change where you are now, because you didn't take that action, so therefore you went on a different path.
Not necessarily, though.
Okay.
Because you might choose not to do something initially, but then you might still end up there.
But you've taken a different path,
route.
So your experience and your journey is different.
Yeah. But you're still...
So you answered the question then.
Okay, yeah.
So yes, you still end up at the same destination.
Okay, all right.
I love getting people to answer their own questions. And that's what I had to do. I had to choose to re-enter.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, look, obviously you've touched on plant medicine. That's something that I haven't really spoke about on here. But again, for those that have been following along, I'm low tox. So definitely honor all the plants, all the natural medicine. And I think, you know, psychedelics, and no, they're certainly not out of that. They're a huge part of it. And I think all plants are. Anything that comes from our beautiful Mother Earth is absolutely meant to be used. I think that all the other things that we make from, like, you know, chemically derived bits and pieces is not as great as it should be.
To be honest, they probably all come from the root of a plant anyway.
Well, they do. I mean, like when you look at any like products and things like that, all the ingredients have come from some sort of natural, but they've been taken so far away from the natural and created synthetically, then you've got something very different. Anyway, we have completely digressed.
Talk about plants will speak to you though. So I just want to sort of put that in there. We're not about going and like getting on the mushrooms every weekend, or like plants will go through time and space where you need them and then time and space where you don't need them.
Yeah, absolutely. So
reel it back.
Well, I was just going to say, like, I mean, obviously we've learned a lot about how you got into, I suppose, the wellness industry, but do you want to talk through everything that you offer? I mean, I've only kind of like, I've only like scratched the top really. Yeah. Because there's so many different things that you do. Yeah. Tell everyone.
Well, I think like, first of all, before I sort of list things, Anahata basically means heart in Sanskrit. So my business name is the Anahata Tribe, which is the heart tribe. So anything and everything I do is from my heart to your heart. And that's my intention. Is it doesn't actually matter the thing that we do to get us there. It's about opening my heart and giving and pouring into you so that you can receive, and then I'm receiving from someone else who's pouring into me, or we're receiving backwards, forwards. So in my work, everything I do is from the heart space. And then I come back to, so Reiki is a huge part of what I do. I've done Reiki for 8 years was when I did my level 1, 8 years ago. Wow. And obviously I teach Reiki as well, but Reiki is kind of interweaved in all facets of what I do. So we have little touch on level 1. We have 4 bodies. We have our physical body, our emotional body, our mental body, and our spiritual body. So when I think about, yoga flow, we're working on our physical body, right? But say in a restorative yoga session, we're working on our mental and emotional bodies because we're working with the nervous system and regulating the nervous system.
Do you want to quickly say what both of those yogas are, though?
What's the difference?
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, I never used to know. Obviously, I do now because I do yoga with you. Yeah. So, do you want to?
Yeah. So I teach 3 styles of yoga. I teach yoga flow, restorative yoga, and yin yoga. Yoga flow is movement through the body. Basically, we start in a grounded position. We work up. We're lifting the body. You're in your warriors. It's not quite a vinyasa for those of you who know yoga. Vinyasa is like the speedy, we're not too crazy. We're all about calmness here. But it's a gentle moving through the levels of the body. So we're starting on the ground, we're lifting up, we're moving through the whole body, and then we come back down to the ground again. I think that's probably the simplest way to describe a flow. So. Restorative yoga is all about your nervous system. So long hold poses, but poses that you can soften into and that are going to activate your parasympathetic, which is one branch of your autonomic nervous system. So it's basically your rest and digest system.
Yep.
Take a nap, basically. Take a nap. And then yin, people sometimes get restorative and yin a little bit mixed up because yin is long hold poses as well, but yin is very good for releasing trauma. Yin is more working with the physical body and the emotional body. So that's the key. And we're long hold poses, but we're more meeting the edge of the pose. So there's deeper poses. And we're working with, our body has like this fascial line, right? So connective tissue over our muscles is like, can be like real tight like this. And then yin allows that connective tissue to come out. I was covering my face there. With Harrison. Oh no. We do this.
This happens a lot where we'll lose it to laughter, which is great. Which is great for the body. Which is
great for our physical and mental and emotional bodies.
If only it worked my inner muscles a bit more.
That's a core exercise.
I know, but I've got to laugh a lot if I'm going to get a 6-pack from it.
So we better hang out more. But yeah, that's your fascial tissues, and you want your fascia to be like to have fluid within it, basically, so that it's more movable, because like, you know, your neck's connected to your lower back and all these sorts of things. So I do have a background in fitness, which is why you might be like, there's this real spiritual chick giving us these real scientific things going on here, but I do have a background in women's health and fitness,
and because of that as well, you do a lot of yoga in your own studio, but then also in gyms as well, right?
I do, yeah,
which is really cool. I think it's really cool to be able to have that like crossover, because you just said like you are very spiritual, but then there's also, I suppose, that grounded element into the fitness world as well, which is very different to like just going into like and going into like a yoga studio, which is whereas being in a gym, it's very very different. How do you find like the working with those two like realms?
Great question. I love working in gyms. I do think it's because it's like a little bit ingrained in me from what I've done since I was early 20s. But what I really, really love about it is there's a lot more men in gyms, but that's not why.
She's lying. She's lying.
No. Date pitch.
If there is anyone in particular, then no.
Oh dear.
Drop the comment below.
Not only just men. There's a lot of people who wouldn't normally step into these things because they go, oh, yoga's really spiritual, I can't do that, or all these sorts of things. But when you're stepping into a gym and it's, you know, it might be prefaced as breathwork and myofascial release, not necessarily yoga. Or it might be breath and stretching, which I hate because it's not actually called stretching. But a lot of the gyms I work with now do say Eb's coming to do yoga and breath work. And I just love it because there's so many people who've never experienced it before. And that profound moment of someone's just held a butterfly pose for 5 minutes and then all of a sudden they can breathe again and they're not tense up in their shoulders. And I've had so many real tough big boys come to me and be like, can I swear? Fuck. Like,
you just did.
Whoops.
You did.
We're not on radio. This whole episode's canned. I've talked about psychedelics. I've sworn. They're going to get rid of it. But then they're like, it's fine. Like I just had like a moment, like I just cried. And I'm like, that's okay. Yeah. Because we hold so much physical tension in our bodies. Our body doesn't actually hold the tension. It's the activation of safety that occurs that we can then release.
Absolutely. And actually I've just I'll link it below the video that I've just released on like body and trauma, like and like the body holding that. And it's like it's the emotional element and it kind of, and then you can feel it in that physical too. And then when you do go to a yoga session or Pilates or other I think there are, you can get that huge release, and sometimes it's very unexpected, and sometimes you don't know that you've actually got that trauma still, I suppose, trapped within you, you know, because it then becomes release. And like you were just saying with, you know, big burly guys and stuff, but I think it happens to all of us, you know, when we go through experiences, we're kind of carrying around like, you know, not the physical weight. Well, some of us might be, but like the that mental weight as well, and then that kind of gets held in, you know, in so many different places, right? Yeah.
And like if you think about how the body responds in trauma, it tightens. So our body physically locks up in trauma, and then in these things like yin and restorative, we release, we soften, and then it's like, oh, I'm safe, ding, now I can process. So that's why I always say we heal in layers. Like, and sometimes we don't know when that next layer is coming at us and we're like, whoa.
I refer to the healing as a field of onions.
I know, right?
Because you're constantly peeling away layers. Yeah. And sometimes you then step over to another onion and you peel off the same kind of layer that you peeled off 3 years ago. and you're like, I thought I dealt with this, but it's on a different level.
It's a different
It might be a
level.
deeper level. It
Yeah.
might be just a very different scenario that you've got to deal with. So healing is very multifaceted.
And I always, back when I was coaching like a lot, I would say new level, same devil. So it's always the same,
but it's just
root, but it's a different narrative attached to it. Yeah.
You just mentioned coaching as well. So
I didn't intend to do that. But
life coaching, business coaching.
Not business coaching anymore.
Okay.
Scratch that from
Scratch that one. Yeah.
Look, if you're my friend, holler at me, but I'll help you out with your business. But I think the coaching industry in itself is quite toxic, I'm going to say.
Okay.
And I went through that whole cycle of like, I think that was actually a huge part of my healing journey as well, of like, look, I love money. Money's great. It gives us what we want, but money's not the goal. Freedom is the goal for me. And I feel like that business coaching, big coaching world was just not my scene. But yes, I still do mindset coaching. Yeah. Because I think mindset coaching is really powerful. I do a lot of subconscious work. So we're working with the 95% in our subconscious mind.
Speaking of the subconscious,
go on
as well, because Ebony also does like intuitive reads as well, which I suppose that is not just tapping into the ether. I think that is also
tapping into the subconscious. Yeah.
So I've been very fortunate enough to have lots of beautiful oracle card reads and intuitive card reads from Ebs, and she is phenomenal. So and that's part of your business too. And you've just started doing the homecoming online on Facebook.
Have I?
Yes. Is it called the homecoming?
I've done homecoming in the past. I know what you're saying. Oh yes. No, we finished that though.
But we've just done it.
Sorry, correct. I was like, what are we talking about?
This is releasing yoga and doing some,
online.
Online. So, because she doesn't just work in her physical body, she does a lot of online stuff as well. Yeah. And what else do you do? Because we are going to wrap up in a moment. Okay. But what else do you do? What other strings are there to your bow? So many. I mean, mentioned the plants before. So obviously I work a lot with essential oils, and then that kind of comes back to the shamanic side of things. I think shamanic and Reiki are kind of like two opposite ends of the string. Shamanic can be working with darker, denser, heavier energies. We don't mean dark like evil. We just mean we all have dark and light, right? So shamanic can be when we're going through those deep healing stages, and then Reiki is almost like the growth, abundance, activation, light energies. So there's those two pillars. You've spoken about shamanics. Actually, Del and I were very fortunate to have Ebs here do the shamanic drumming for our winter solstice, which was very well received, and it was beautiful. Good. It was very, very nice. So you do a lot of drumming, which is gorgeous. I know it hurts your arms after a little while.
It's a lot to bang that drum, I tell you. I need to go to the gym more.
But I mean, actually, you touched on the oils as well. So, as you guys know, I do make a lot of products around the house, and it was through Ebony doing all the doTERRA that she's an absolute queen in it. So,
but that was a huge part of the healing journey too. Like I literally found oils because I couldn't sleep after I came out of the abusive relationship and was diagnosed with PTSD and chronic fatigue and fucking all the
it's amazing,
all the
isn't it, though, how it all weaves together.
It all
like
comes
all
back
of
to
it
that.
Is and it just goes to show though how many different avenues we need as part of our healing journey, but also can be a part of your life, right? It's your
that's life, though. We like we said before, life is not one path. You don't heal on one path. You don't heal from one person. You know, you might need me, Sherry, and 4 other people on your healing journey. I'm always collaborative. Yeah. That's massive. You know.
I think it's important to be collaborative, though.
You have to be.
I think definitely within this wellness space, like we see a lot of the same faces. And actually somebody said to me not long ago, oh, you all do Reiki. Isn't there just going to be too much, like too many people doing Reiki?
There's not enough.
There's not enough, right? Because actually everyone has their own styles and their own ways of doing it, and also incorporating it into their business. And I think, you know, there is definitely enough room for everybody. And I especially think it's important to collaborate because you earn and learn together.
Yes.
I think. So that when you actually collaborate, you open up more doors to be able to like meet more people, you know, and then get more business and then give more business as well. So it's like it's like this big, I don't know, washing machine cycle, right?
Of people.
And then more and more people are coming into that circle. And then as they become, you know, less in need of those of those healing paths, they might move away, and then it gives space. For someone else to kind of step in, and then they go off and, you know, do their own little things as well, which is kind of magical, really. So
I think every home needs a healer, and every home needs someone who knows how to work with essential oils or plants or whatever element of the earth you want to work with.
Yeah. It's really powerful, actually. But I mean, I have a lot to be thankful for, because a lot of the things that I do and incorporate into my life have come from Ebs.
And I got it from someone else.
Yeah, so but it's nicer because it's it is going all full circle.
Yeah.
And actually, Ebony was one of my first recipients as well in one of my own designs when it came to my eye pillows.
Cute.
So, you know, like it all works.
Like, where are they? Product placement.
You've got them all.
Oh, I've got them at home.
Well, look, I want to say a massive thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
I've actually learned a lot, which was really cool. But also, hopefully, you guys have stuck around this long. Thank you so much if you have. If you're loving this content, please hit the subscribe and the notification bell so you know when I'm dropping some new content. There's going to be a few more interviews that I'd like to do. And so, I want to thank Ebony from the Anahata Tribe. I will link her details below as well. So you can hop on and follow her on her beautiful Insta page. If you're in Melbourne, you can connect with her, or if not, she does lots of things online too. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Mwah. Thank you.